I want to welcome you back to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaya Diamond. What's up, peoples? You know what? I got something going on here, and it's like, yeah, we just getting ready to turn it all out. We just getting ready to mess it all up for you. I'm so sorry. We're getting ready to ruin a bunch of things. You don't want to go anywhere because the truth will set you free. All right, so the truth will set you free is what I said, right? And we're getting ready to do that right now. We have a wonderful, wonderful plethora of people on the show today. And I'm just so excited to have you guys. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Hey, Yaya.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi,
Yaya.
everybody. Hi, Yaya.
Hey, we got Michelle, we got Darren, and we got City Gal. I'm excited because we're getting ready to talk about some things that most people just don't want to talk about. It's kind of like taboo, but we're just going to say it's not taboo anymore. We're just going to talk about it. And so I'm going to start off with City Gal. What's up, girlfriend Melanie? How you doing?
I am good. Exhausted, moving into the fourth industrial revolution, kind of going, wow.
Well, it's all about unguruyourlife.com today. And Unguru, you have like a platform that you've put together different people and educators and journalists all into one place. I mean, so what made you decide to do this?
Coming kicking and screaming back into media was just not my idea of fun. But the airwaves and frequencies are everything. So I knew I needed to gather experts in each of these styles to educate, have people, because people are really confused about the conspiracy theories, you name it, they're confused. So we needed these educators to come back in and to educate behind a wall, okay? It's a private member association, and what that means is that you have to apply to belong. That means you have to send in your driver's license or your passport because we want to know who is on the other end of the keyboard. That is the most important. And to use technology very little, for things that you really like. Just technology use has to be very little. It is not hard to get your life back together and move towards one another. The problem in society, and why I came back kicking and screaming to find just everyday people, because I'm like you, used to working with corporate. Your word is your bond. You usually just pass letters of agreement and you're done. It's just back and forth, and you're paid. So on and so forth. You don't really have to worry about people stabbing you in the back when you're established. Correct?
That's true. That is so true. Yes.
It's very true. So this journey has been wild. It's been the Wild West, going out into the public to find everyday people. The problem is the public. So we can't blame the evil overlords. Okay. Everybody's going to be a legend in their own living room. Everybody's got the next greatest best thing. They're not turning towards one another at all, because there's enough room for everybody.
Right.
The people have the power, and they're literally giving it away. It's not about fun. It's about walking away together and how we can do business together. So that was my first, like, holy cow. Yeah, I'm from Wisconsin, so I got the yayas on the holy cows. I even say
yeah.
So I was like, holy cow. I couldn't believe the level of psychopathies out there. So we've been working at this for 2 years, and then we had a run-in with what I call the wellness demons. And the wellness demons are just supplement sellers. So because people really do have these toxins that are going on in their body. So this wellness demon, I found out that, because it's all fake. Media is all fake. It's all just kickback sellers and bully clubs in Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. I found out that she doesn't even have what she said she has, and she's just basically sending it to a white glove lab and putting her own labels on it and upselling it for like $90. So I had run-ins with three of those styles of people. And at that same time, one of my friends who trades, these are trader people across the entire world, is having the same issues in their community. And this is upper middle class to, multimillionaires. So he wanted the same style of platform. So he bought it from me, which was great because I'm going broke making this thing, which was great. That replenished that.
Right.
So that's why I was so lucky. It was like kismet. And Michelle kept hanging on, and I told her to hang on, and we're still hanging on because this new digital revolution is something else. And here we are. So that's why I sold my first platform. I did come kicking and screaming back into media, but when people get these simple educations, then we can go on to Unguru Broadcast Network, merge our stuff, and bring the arts back.
Right.
We need to get the like-minded people educating and staying off of these machines as much as possible, moving into the digital world, understanding how to use technology. Fair business for fair business practices, and we have to tell the truth how people are getting scammed out there.
Yeah, you're right. And it's that's called the white label. White labeling. It's basically you buy the product, you put your label on it, and you sell it as your very own. But people want a shortcut.
Oh, it's
so
it's the beginning. And like I was telling you before, when I went to the podcaster, there's like a sea of like 2,000-3,000 podcasters there, and I would say 20% of them have any humanity left. And I was speaking on ethics, and ethics in media, and they don't care. They're running thousands of websites at a time. They are being kicked back by all of the mainstream media to mirror anybody on YouTube. It'll monetize them and make them money, but they want people in these machines because these machines are checkmate. They want people, what's happening next. They want people talking, whatever thought prison it may be. And this will come up with when we speak to Darren, it's oxidative stress and the biometrics biowarfare. So they're mirroring channels, and they're called ghost YouTube channels. They're putting AI bots and farm bots and chatting back and forth. And they don't care if you make money. They want you in these machines. This will fry your brain. In 5 years, this will fry your brain. You're gone. You're done. You're done.
Wow. This is crazy. So how did you meet everybody here today? How did you meet them?
Darren and Darren's parent company is a manufacturer of for kinesiology.
High-grade nanoceuticals, micronized nutrition.
And, sweetness.
We kept hanging on to each other because during all of this time I was having trouble, and these are the guys that will heal. These are the guys that will heal the toxic stuff that, there's nothing to do with some green agenda. This is biowarfare. When your waters, your airwaves, and your medicines are poisoned, this is biowarfare. And we have those teledoctors coming in that deal with environmental sickness. That's what we are dealing with now, and it's unbelievable. So I hung on to Darren tight, and his mother is a genius. His family's a genius. Hung on to him tight because I knew I needed him as an educator. And somebody you will be meeting is Dr. Kanika Verma, because we're actually doing East meets West, and we're already starting to connect with India, who their social climate, they have just had their 60s events. So their John Lennon was assassinated. We are in the Matrix for real. So we're trying to tell them, stop it now. Stop it now. You've got the chance to stop it now and to come together. Because India has the highest middle class and the highest upper middle class, and they are the healers. I mean, they really know how to heal. Michelle, it was a fluke. I came across Miss Michelle. There's a notable person out there who I know is a disinfo guy, but he's because you and I are both from the same industry. We know who's who. And he wanted so bad to get in on here and, mesmerize people for hours and hours with his cinematography and half rabbit holes. Well, when I saw Michelle, and I know I know a ton of things. I know a ton of little things about everything. I saw Michelle and I'm like, oh my God, I have to have her. She's a healing force, as you know.
Yeah, I do know. Yeah.
With Brian and I have been going through all the law remedy schmucks. Now, I come from two different styles of families. On my one side, my father was a high level, and his family, high level military complex family.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather beat the crap out of him, and we never saw him again. Because if you want to talk about MK Ultra and all of that stuff, that is the side on my dad's side of the family, high level. Not within everyone. Everybody wants to black and white this stuff. Not that black and white. Crime syndicates are crime syndicates. So my grandfather kicked his ass, and that was it. I was raised by my grands and my great grands, and my mother was willed to stay at home and raise us.
Oh, wow.
So everything was paid for, that type of stuff. But she needed to be Mary Tyler Moore, and you can't blame that, because again, what poisons were put into all of these people, what thought prisons were put into the parasympathetic system, all of that kind of stuff. So, but I grew up like that, very sheltered by my grands and my great grands, because they ran from genocide in Poland. They are apolitical. They are apolitical and at peace with this government, because in my opinion, the oligarchs put in stewards that ran crazy and decided to set up a bunch of crime syndicates and use us as human farm animals. And that's, if you talk to my family, which you wouldn't even see them in public, because they almost died when I told them I was going into what I was going into, because they were terrified. They were terrified. Yeah. That's what we've got going on, and I think it's coming to order pretty good. I think it is. So that's why I needed Michelle, because she knows. She knows all.
She knows
a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
She's the peacemaker. So we need the peacemakers. Okay, we're not going to get restitution. We're not going to get restitution.
Wow. So I know that you sold your first platform. Why did you do that? And then after you sold your first platform, what made you decide to get this one?
Oh my God. We did go over that. I sold my first platform. It was perfect timing, because like I said, the psychopathies of people out there, they don't understand the power within one another. They're going to be legends in their own living rooms. They've got all the answers. They need followers. They're, okay, this is a really good analogy. For those that have seen, we know that predictive programming does come out of portions of Hollywood. Not all Hollywood is bad, okay? It just isn't.
Right.
So there is this movie called The Quiet Place or something like that. And it is literally how they win over humanity. It's called The Quiet. They all have to be quiet, or these big monsters come get them. I mean, it's really kind of cool.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
Okay. So number 2 is the only one you need. How do they win? They put out on this island a beacon, a Wi-Fi tower or a cell tower beacon, and kept playing music so humanity would come towards it. Well, this girl had frequency in her hearing aid. And that's what killed these things. So when we can take the airwaves back, everybody wants to talk about Facebook is censored. It's not censored. It's a private company. It's not your company. We have just as much right to come back and take back our airwaves and make our own music, arts, and share with one another as everybody else does. So why are we on those platforms? why are you whining and complaining? It's kind of like the doctors and the nurses that have to be vaxxed. Why don't you get together and drop your own hospital? Or the pilots that were so pissed that they were grounded. Why don't you get together and drop your own private membership planes? And they are. So finally, people are understanding how to come together and do this together. So that was a quiet place. That's the top, getting your frequencies back, getting the airwaves back. And frequencies kill what? Parasites.
I love it.
There's a lot there.
There is a lot. There is a lot there. Yeah. So, okay. So tell me about the educators you have with you today. I mean, like we have Darren. You said he is like the nutrition guy. You held on to him. You have Michelle, who is like the historian. I call her the historian. She doesn't think she is, but she is. She's a historian. And I'm just going to leave it like that. And then she just can't dispute it because I'm the host. And then you have yourself. Tell me about, Darren and tell me about Michelle.
Okay. Well, about Darren, he's got the right nanoceuticals. It is all about nanoceuticals. We need to get these toxins out, but it's also about frequencies. And Darren can really, explain about that because everything is a frequency to include our clothes. So when I wear silk, linen, and chemical-free cotton. I have about 20 outfits. I'm a minimalist because your clothes have a frequency even. So they poisoned everything. So you want to keep that connection to your creator going. So Darren, tell me about the frequency stuff.
Well, everything does have a frequency. So if we're going to start off there, everybody has to start understanding that the table or chair that you're sitting next to or on is actually moving. It has movement and vibration to it. So once you start getting in those realms, you need to understand that people, here's a good introduction. People are either above the line or below the line mentally, right? And energetically. So, a lot of people right now that are depressed, they're scared, they're worried, their nervous systems are completely whacked out. And that's what is the number one cause of all disease. Any pain and inflammation can actually be brought on by this. So 90% of all disease is taken on by neurological stress. So with all that being said, you can invert the frequencies like a sound wave. You can use hertz and substance-specific frequencies, similar to how we're talking right now. We're on a cell phone. A voice is routing over another main frequency, which is the cell carrier. We would use a hertz frequency with the frequency for strawberries. They ride over on top of each other, and we can lessen your allergy to that type of food. You can do it with different medicines, grasses, people that are suffering from hay fever, all across the board. So to bring it all together, we utilize trusted, highest quality nutrients at a micronized level. So when we say nanoceuticals, that's a big word. We don't want to scare everybody. Nobody's heard that, right? When you go to the supermarket, CVS, your doctor, drugstore, you've never heard that word. All that means is that you have broken down nutrition at a nano level. Why is that important? You think there's less in the bottle, it doesn't work as good. When you have these smaller molecules of high quality nutrition plus added frequency work, bioinformation, that's like directions for the body to send the nutrients where they need to go and to tell the cells what to do with the nutrients. It just makes it so much more powerful. So those added together, you found that you can get 100% absorbability for all your nutrients. When you're used to taking these pills, right? Everybody knows what a pill is. You swallow that, you're ingesting it, and you're digesting it through the stomach. You actually don't get, I think it's 75% of that is absorbed through the gut and completely destroyed. Sorry, not absorbed, but destroyed by the gut. So taking some sort of a nanoceutical, a sublingual spray with 100% bioavailability over that month is going to do astronomical things, even without the frequency work added. So that's the basis of our company and where we come from, and our little niche here as far as sublingual spray.
Wow.
Frequency stuff is very cool, and it is very real. So I don't think you need a whole lot to detox.
And there was one thing I was going to add real quick. I'm sorry. The first thought that I had was about above the line and below the line. People have to understand energetics, and only disease and parasites and cancers can grow and live in in like what you would call a negative space body. So if you know those people that are constantly down, and it could be some baggage from their past, you can't judge them. It's our job to help get them out of these ways of thinking. But when you're constantly pulled down, you're constantly being negative, and it's just kind of like a spiral effect. Those people are most of the time sick. And you find that when they get older, they get very sick. And whether it's cancer, bacterial and fungal over infestations, you see this Morgellons disease that Melanie's going to talk a lot about. So anyways, just wanted to wrap that back in. But we really do have to take care of the oxidative stress and stress as a whole in this country and in the world. So we have some wonderful nervous system products we're excited to share with everybody.
Wow. That is amazing. I love the fact that you said that, like, all the vitamins I'm taking, none of them are working really good.
Well, it's just that a lot of it gets destroyed before you get to utilize it. And not everyone was taught that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's amazing. I have to rethink everything now. Sublingual sprays, all this new stuff, new technology.
Vibration. Love is the highest vibration. What are we doing? Love one another and allow one another space and come together, not to force each other to believe as one, but to discuss. If love is the highest frequency, wow, we could turn this around tomorrow.
Oh yeah. I hope there will be one day where we can do that. I definitely do hope that one day we could turn this around and just,
I've told everybody on this team, it's only us that saves us, and there's only so much I can do.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's only us that saves us. There's enough room for everybody. And what is so unique about Unguru, besides the fact who's on the other end of the keyboard, is that everybody has a chance to have a voice. If they want to sign up and sell a Mary Kay product, there is great multi-level product selling out there. These companies, some of them are just beautiful, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we can't black and white everything, but it's when the people come together. Because we are closing out at 15,000 members, and this is going to be repeated in a new region. So people know where to find each other to walk away in peace.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. So you have Miss Michelle Gibson, and she is your historian with Hidden Histories. Tell me a little bit about that.
She's a masterpiece, just like everybody we have on this platform. All things happen for a reason, and I think I needed to go through those lessons to know what was really inside of people, in trying to gain just everyday people with real good credibility resumes. You know what I mean? Rather than go and just hire everybody from Sage and do what I'm doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that I could have done in a minute and made it go viral. But how are we going to elevate the people that have had their throat chakra taken out? It's going to the people. So Michelle, when I saw her, I said, oh my God, please let this lady get on my platform. She's going to bring it home. She's the top level that is going to level people to the conspiracy theories being down on the ground, and instead of some magical place on Jeffrey Epstein Island, when I don't even think he was a pedo rapist. I think they had young girls there. But let me tell you, okay, wait. I was on a think tank. I was very big in Wisconsin. Milwaukee Athletic Club. This is nothing new. It was a hotel, a big business club, a fitness club. This is nothing new. Okay. They had balls, and I'm going to tell you those pictures from the 1920s and 1911. Those were young women, 16, 17 years old on those men's arms. And believe you me, the ladies had cabana boys. It's just the way it was. Who's got the kids in the cages in our communities? How about that?
Yeah.
22,000 kids go missing a day, and we can't figure out that cannibalism is an addiction. And there's a price tag, on these kids' heads. So
it's all a business, right?
correct. I mean, human slavery has been around forever. Hasn't stopped.
Mm.
So when we get to know our neighbors, that'll change, I hope.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so. Oh my gosh. I don't even want to hear about it. But like I said before, guys, this is the truth. And if you can't handle the truth, just take the blue pill. Just take the blue pill.
And let me just kind of edge in here, because that's
Please come in.
Not really what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot of stuff in the background that most people have no idea about, and that needs to be dealt with at some level, at some point, and hopefully sooner rather than later. But my passion is uncovering the true history of the earth and what's taken place here, and how we've all been manipulated and lied to by the controllers, who are the only ones that benefit from the conditions that we've been living in, I think, for the last 100 to 200 years. I think before then, things were much better and different, harmonious, unified, creative, incredible. But there's something happened and turned everything upside down, for the purposes of power control. And the people that are behind it are the elite 13 family, the main ones, and then there's offshoots of that, and there's a lot of corruption in the world. But my focus is that what I found in my research, and I've been steadily researching since 2016, but I've been interested in hidden history and earth mysteries and so on since I was a kid, watching Robert Stack on Unsolved Mysteries and Leonard Nimoy on In Search Of and Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious World. I love those kind of programs. But back then there wasn't a whole lot of other information. So it really took the onset of the internet to start being able to access different streams of information. Mm-hmm. And I came into some information. Really, it was over the course of my life, but in the last few years, that allowed me to start to put the puzzle together. I had learned about sacred geometry in around 2007, and right now I have 3 courses on that on Unguru. But I found a star tetrahedron by connecting the dots of cities in North America, and a star tetrahedron is the same thing as the Star of David. It's also the shape of the human Merkaba, which is the human energy body, which is the same shape as the Earth's energy body, which is the same shape as the universe. Mm-hmm. And sacred geometry has all the answers to creation in it, but essentially it's vortex-based mathematics, and how we all got here, and the importance of geometry in creation. And I don't know a lot about gematria, but that's in the mix also. So numbers are hugely important. But the ancients understood that. The ancients weren't questioning how we got here, where we are, the nature of reality, or anything like that. They were living it. Mm-hmm. And the ancient ones go back to ancient Lemuria, and they created all of the infrastructure that we have on Earth, that everything good about the Earth they created. And we live on top of what they built. And all of that has been removed from our awareness. Critical thinking was removed from our schools and our education. So people just, read and regurgitate. And they're rewarded for conformity and not diversity and divergent thinking. And you really have to be able to look at things critically to start to just even see what's in the environment around you. Because if you see a big stone lying in the middle of the grassy area between the road and the sidewalk, you don't even register it, or a row of stones. Mm-hmm. But once you start tuning into it, you'll see that they have shaped and cut edges. So they're like masonry and megalithic stones. And these things are everywhere because the controllers rub our noses in it. They're supposed to tell us, so they tell us without telling us they're telling us. And they leave these clues all over the place. But people walk right on by them because they don't see it, and it's not supposed to be there, and it's just natural. And so my journey has been about noticing, reading a lot of alternative researchers, earth energy researchers, dowsers, watching presenters at megalithomania conferences, learning a lot from them. But I really started to do my own research when I found the star tetrahedron, wrote down cities, extended the lines out, and I started following those lines. And when I started to do that, the history of the earth unfolded, as well as the what the controllers did to take over everything. So a lot of my research is morphing into how they do it, who was behind it. And once you start looking, what's in the historical record, the narrative just falls apart. It's so flimsy. On one hand, they tell us that in the 19th century, and so in the 1800s, we didn't have much going for us as far as technology. But at the same time, they were building these massive domed Capitol buildings in the new cities, and all of this incredible masonry. With dates from like let's say the 1850s to the 1920s that they built.
Yeah.
and it doesn't make sense if we don't have the technology. We didn't even have cars supposedly until I want to say early 1900s with Henry Ford, but we had streetcars. We had electric streetcars. And then once we got the cars, they took away the streetcars, except in a very few places. So you hear San Francisco, you think, Rice-A-Roni and Ding Ding and streetcar. But those streetcars were everywhere, literally, and they were removed. So there's all this technology, high technology that is just completely being kept from us and attributed to somebody else. And so my work is really about uncovering that, about bringing back the Moors to collective awareness and the ancient Moorish civilization. And when I say Moor, Moor is derived from Mu, which refers to Lemuria, Mu, M-U'-U-R-S. And the ancient ones don't refer to people that lived long ago. They still live with us today. The Washita Moors are called the ancient ones. And, there's just a lot of information that's just been completely removed from the historical record that's available to find in writing, but it is still available to find in historical pictures, illustrations. It's just looking. It's going around your community and looking at the older buildings, the libraries, the museums, old water towers that are incredible. There's a story that's there. A lot of people talk about airships and zeppelins, and I've gone into a little bit, but those tall towers seem to have been connected with the airships, and the airships were around long before when we're told that they were. So there are things going on that just don't make any sense with what we're told that we were capable of. And I don't think we had all of this sickness and disease and fighting and murder and war. I'm seeing a civilization around the world that was harmonious. And I think we've just been given this history that makes us think we're less than we are. And that it's inevitable.
Right. When you say the controllers, when Michelle references the controllers, because it's scholar talk, no, these are people that these are people that you grew up with. These are people in your community. It's inside of the human host.
This is deep, y'all. I'm just trying to comprehend all of this, But
I think there's a top level that's behind a lot of stuff, but people have been infected by what Melanie's talking about.
Yeah.
You know,
I think,
it has infected us. But I think
yeah.
there is a source, a parasite, let's call it a parasite source
Mm-hmm.
that is behind how people can hurt each other the way they do.
Mm.
And that's not our true nature.
Right.
Nope.
It's not our true nature.
So
It's
you get
not.
up the vibes and love is the way, and it's not the new age narcissism and the yoga farters and the live your best lifers. That ain't it.
No.
No.
No. And I think people kind of deep down inside, they know. They just don't say anything. Yes. Because I kind of understood what you were saying as like a basis of, really? I knew that all along.
In people, you have got to look deep into people's eyes now. And that's what I learned with my first attempt at this is you have to, actions speak louder than words, and silence is a response.
Mm-hmm. It is.
So
like right now.
Exactly. And I'm so free and so carefree because I come from behind a corporate wall that I'm like, okay, you're going to do that. That's great. All right, let's go. No. The whole world has changed since I got out of media and went behind the media wall where I wish I would have been, could stay, but I can't.
Wow. That's
and I think another aspect of that needs to be at least recognized is the use of fear.
Yes.
Whether it's the fear of loss of position or platform or life or money or violence, and we're seeing a lot of that today.
Yeah.
Pain is real. The fear if you say something and something's going to happen to you or your family, that's very powerful. And so you just really have to be courageous. And there's a saying that goes something along the lines of, when everything is a lie, speaking the truth is a radical act. And that's a lot of what it is. I mean, most people have never heard about what I have to say, and I'm speaking from my heart. I don't even.
Right. Over the last 15 years, I can tell you that I have cut out at least 15% of, 50% of the people that I used to know. When they started bringing back all of these agendas on the left and the right, I was like, I'm done. You people are crazy. Our kids are killing themselves as young as 8 years old on this stuff in like 2004, 2005, and nobody cared. And I was done when it was right before 911 when children went missing from playing from the street. And I was just a young kid. And I was like, what the hell? If my grands were alive, they would have the courthouses, the schools, the everything surrounded with guns going, all right, not so much.
Right. Wow.
And nobody cared. And nobody's cared. What is poisoning people this badly that they cannot even care about the children? And these children are so gone, sick, narcissistic, but really majorly sick. What's going on? And why are we allowing this? And then blaming these kids for this.
Well, and one thing, if I can interject there, it kind of tags with both of what you were saying.
Right.
I sent you a text message last night, Melanie, about a quote from 20, 30-year-olds, kind of mid-range, millennials, whatever. A lot of them almost want to comply now, regardless of their political standpoint, regardless of your religion, regardless of your conspiracy theories, medical knowledge. None of it matters. They literally, what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing from people my age, they literally are going to do whatever they're asked to do, so everyone will shut up. They think they're going to shut up if they do what they're told. And that's the problem, is that it's just another snowball effect. If you're complacent and you comply with everything that the government's been doing this last 2 years. Now, maybe some of it was right, maybe some of it was wrong. We're all learning. We're not there to debate it. It's just, if you're force-fed information this way, this is what's so dangerous. This is the turning point where PTSD and depression turn into death. and murders and violence. And there's what we call a boiling point. So I guess right now, and I think everybody agrees, I know, Michelle, you do, and Melanie, Aya, right now, the only thing you can do is speak in peace, act in love, and be a good example. And if they don't want to hear you, then you have to walk away. And there's no bottle throwing and knife jabbing and Molotov cocktails burning houses down. It's just a thank you very much, and I'm going to go my own way. And hopefully over time, they'll see you.
Yeah.
Second chances. No second chances anymore. Competition is going to get very, very thick. We're all moving to private events. We're all knowing who to do business with in our community or otherwise. And competition is going to get very thick. We don't want this kind of stuff anymore. We don't need to be taken advantage of by our plumbers, our doctors, our anything. So it's a one and done for me. And I really don't need any networks. So I'm in a very good position. That's why I came back out to media, is to show people that they need one another and we need one another.
That's it. That's the main goal.
We need one another, but you can't help these kinds of poisons in people. You have to look deeply into somebody's eyes and be one and done, because what's in them is no longer human. And I'm not kidding.
Wow.
So it goes back to that Quiet Place movie. What is the first thing that we need to get back is the frequency. The frequency, and then let out a frequency that kills the parasites that are within the human host. That's bringing our art back. That's bringing levity. That's stopping the depression. That is hugging each other and saying, oh my God, we're normal dysfunctional and it's okay.
Tell me about it.
Most people don't even know how sick and how much it can change a person to be infected with parasites or different types of that matter.
Well, I mean, Darren, tell us about that, because you represent KO Gardens. Tell me what that is.
Well, there's a number of different types of parasites. The ones that you're probably most familiar with and the ones that are easier to take care of are the gut type parasites. Tapeworms, you can have a couple different flukes. There's some really bad types of bacteria that are involved with that and the growth. Ferritin stealers, I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. They hoard around iron deposits, or they deposit big pieces of iron. They take it out of your blood, and that's part of their food. So that's one way that we get rid of them. We have a couple products that target those iron deposits, and it can steal their food source from them. The other thing that people don't know is that not just what most doctors will address, like tapeworms and things in the gut, you have brain parasites, you have lung flukes, you have things that can be circulating through the entire blood system, you have things that can be stuck in an arm, a finger, or toe, in your eyes. So just to name a few, I don't know if anybody watched those Monsters Within Us, the Discovery Channel. They did a decent job of at least showing the public that there's many, many types, and that it's actually pretty serious to watch some of your food sources. Make sure you have good cooked meats, and just to make sure that you're also taking care of your water supply. That's another big one. So between your diet, between looking at some different water sources and a couple of our nanoceuticals, we have the bioenergetic frequencies involved, but they can be so detrimental. Just to get back to the point, a loved one, a brother, a sister, a mom, a dad, an uncle, somebody that you've known your whole life, 30 plus years, can act like a completely different person, not just agitated, not just violent, but fatigued, tired, their emotional status completely stripped. I mean, you name it. So when you think about, oh, I got a parasite from eating some bad food, you can chuckle for a second, but that can turn into a detrimental issue and even death in some cases, especially people going overseas and eating some of those, like I've heard of some pretty bad eel stories, people eating eel and things in the Middle East. So you got to prep your stomach. There's some things we can do to make you resilient so that if you are eating a lot of sushi and you like uncooked meats, that you can build up your gut to protect yourself and clear those viral, bacterial, and fungal defenses. But that's where we are as a company there on parasites. They're pretty amazing. I've learned a lot in the last 2 years.
The behavioral disorders, all behavioral disorders are caused by toxins. Throw the psychobabble out. You can title the psychobabble, whether on spectrums of narcissism or whatever, but that's passed from the mother to the father. So you can even, Brian was here. He would say that, the sins of the mother and father are passed through parasites. They pass in our genetics. Personality disorders, throw out the psychobabble. Throw it out. Throw it out. It's what's inside the human host and the parasites controlling the brain.
I'm trying to get over like wanting to eat again.
Be careful, because the further down that rabbit hole you go, you laugh now, but you'll be direly serious.
I'm not laughing.
You won't want to read anymore.
No, I'm not. I'm literally not laughing because it's funny. I'm literally laughing because I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to live. Okay.
Like Michelle will tell
crazy.
you this is fine. This is just the beginning, right?
Oh my gosh. Oh wow. So Darren, would you say that the world is primarily corrupt in the medical field as well? Because I mean, literally going over just the little sentences that you just said a minute ago, maybe you not want to eat anymore. No one's ever said that to me. Like, I knew they were like tapeworms, the typical, but
not
you went a little deeper there.
Yeah.
The medical profession is screwed.
Yeah, I don't think we're in a good place, but I would like to preface the question with this, because there are a lot of great healers, doctors, and practitioners, nurses out there. So we're not going to discredit any of those. However, we have all watched this change. At least for me, the last 2 years has been more life-changing than the first 15 that I was paying attention to, taking the veil over the eyes. I, like Melanie, have known things since I was about 9 to 13 years old that most 40 and 70-year-old people don't learn in the military. So as far as like rabbit holes go and what's really being done in technology, it's all there. But we've just watched the medical community, I guess, get bought out is the best way to say it. So if you can take money, this money-making machine out of it a little bit, and then reinforce it with the good ethics and morals that we once had, I think we can find some common ground. But I think it's pretty, it'd be pretty delusional to say that we have a healthy healthcare system. I will not be able to say that. No.
Interject on my teaching or telling about the story about my son who broke his arm. I live in a community because I would never live in a suburb. So when I'm in residence in West Palm Beach, I live in a historic community. We're all family here. We know where to buy the plates from. Like if we're running late, we've got a neighborhood menu train. I'm talking Japanese, Jamaican, Haitian, Nicaraguan, soul food, you name it, Polish food, because I make the best pierogies. So my kid, we used to, well, when he was little, he never heard this or anything, but we'd call him Baby Jackass because he's a boy and he is wild. So he flipped his bike, pricked his arm, and here we have ghetto hospitals. I don't go to a hospital unless something like that is going on because you don't need it. So I took him to the hospital, and right away they wanted to put in titanium into his wrist, and I know that causes metallosis. Mm-hmm. It causes metallosis, which is heavy metal poisoning. So the doctor then asked me what my career was. And, I just calmed down, got him out of there. They sent DHS, CPS on me, which is another thing that I do on the side is I help young mothers get their kids out of the clutches of that, which is a whole other story. So the DHS worker came to my house and I said, here's my second opinion. Thank you for coming. You may leave now. Then I went just for shits and giggles. I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm from Wisconsin. We swear. Shits and giggles. Shot in a beer. For shits and giggles, I called all of the bar attorneys around my area to see who would take on my case because this is a clear cut and dry case of like serious potential malpractice, bullying, the whole nine. Nobody would. So, but I know my law. So I decided to write an affidavit and send it to this hospital, which I have a non-disclosure agreement with. And wow, they were scared. They were like, this lady knows how to do stuff. She knows how to get us in trouble. So I walked out with a nice, because all the attorneys are in bed with the hospitals, so they wouldn't take my case. It was a conflict of interest. If an attorney takes your case for a medical professional, forget it. You know, they're not gonna do anything for you. Your object is to stay in good standing with that government and not show up at that courthouse to begin with. And that's another aspect that Unguru is, because prevention is the best medicine and everything. Anyway, I won about $27,000 that I put into Unguru. If I would have not known what I was doing, my child would be in CPS or with titanium in his wrist.
Wow. So teledoctors and all that stuff, and then the medical advocates, how important are they in this whole situation too?
Teledoctors are very important. We have teledoctors on Unguru. We have medical advocates. It's about $200 to sign up for them. You drop a contract with them, get it notarized. If you have to go to an emergency room, you hand that phone over. Those medical professionals will treat you so much differently. You'd think you landed in a spa. That's $80,000 a day.
This is very true.
Wow.
Very true.
So we have them, and it's cheap. Then after you sign contract with them, it's like $30 a month. We have the in-home concierge. We have in-home veterinarians. We have in-home IV people that if you're sick, they'll come pump you with some liposomal C. We're pushing all of those businesses into a private member association so they won't be shut down. And you're in accordance with law, giving Caesar his due, and at peace with Caesar's land. So you're in this world, but not of this world.
And would it be fair to say that you're connecting with Unguru people without control devices?
Correct. Correct.
Wow. That's going to be hugely important going forward. I mean, we're all sick of this, aren't we? Everybody's jumping off platforms, and whether it's Parler or the new TikTok or what, you know, and there'll always be an innovation, but people are kind of sick of the normal rhetoric. They want their new group, their new tribe.
Yeah.
And it's really happening everywhere. So
yeah,
that's what makes it exciting.
Well, yes, because those that are members of Unguru, again, they get a chance to do their own fireside chats. You can't censor people anymore. And then people have the wrong idea about censorship. Facebook, YouTube, media, whatever, it's not your company. So turn towards one another, and then we up the frequencies, and everybody gets a voice. Everybody can do business, and we all know who is who. You should be spending a whole lot of time on these devices anyway. Go have those block parties and all-night roller skates with your neighbors.
You will be healthier and happier.
Definitely. Wow. So, all right. So, Darren and Melanie, I mean, how toxic is our environment, and why is the narrative to blame on the people rather than the corporations that are poisoning us? I mean, who wants to go first on this one? Because this is crazy.
I'll start it. Melanie's probably going to fill in some wonderful pieces as well. You might as well just stop reading, because everything's tainted. And you can't escape it now. So our food now and our nutritional value, our water sources, the whole nine. And then that's not even to talk about the EMF frequencies, the stuff coming from our electronics, the radio waves, the added ambient distortions that were never a part of this earth are now breaking people's system down astronomically. But there is no good source of food anymore. So you can only do the best that you can. And I think it really comes down to how we were all taught by these, the nutrition facts as a kid, and the FDA and the different people in power at the time. There was so much money-making power in that, into pushing different butters and fats and rices and what crops we were making in the 40s and 50s. It was all bought out. So, like Nestle got the water rights for umpteen years, and they messed that source up. If you see what the double layer water bottles do. And so there's just all these different things. The same has happened with our meats. And then you have the herbicides that are sprayed on all of the all the lettuces, all the produce, right? So you really are being bombarded across the board. What would you add to that, Melanie?
I would definitely say that you have all of these foundations and charities that are going to protect the water, and they're not getting to the real issue of the poisons that are being intentionally unleashed into the water by mining companies, by farming companies. Mark Ruffalo and attorney Rob Billitt did a movie called Dark Waters. Both of them don't know if they're going to ever turn on their cars again and they're going to blow up. They went up against DuPont, 3M. In Florida, it's Mosaic, and it's a bunch of other companies that all tie to China. And in these fight clubs, in these, do-gooder protester clubs, it's all infiltrated. Well, there are a lot of us that are working on the underground of that. But to get that movie out, Dark Waters, he had a stroke over it. And it took about 50 producers, I believe, because that's when you can get the movies out that tell the truth. It's like 50 producers or something like that. But this is very real. It's PFOAs, it's Gen X chemicals. We have 1,000 forever chemicals running through us. And this is where the Morgellons and Limes is coming in. And it's nothing short of a horror flick, because you will be hearing from them too. They are growing mushrooms out of their mouth. The doctors are being told to put them in psych wards. And if they have crazy family members, they go to psych wards and they die there. If they've got bugs that lay eggs in them, and cockroaches and all kinds of things grow out of these people, they are from head to toe eaten alive. And it is a pandemic. It is.
I'm sorry. I was just.
We all have it. We all have it. Every one of us has it.
Okay, wait. I have to do this. Okay, so I've never heard of this, and I wanted to kind of share this with the people. Is this what we're talking about here? Morgellons disease?
Oh yeah, much worse than that. And the doctors are being paid to cover it up. The people inside of the social media groups like that, Skin Deep is controlled opposition. Then they set up all these foundations and they're going to fight for your rights. They're going to fight for your rights. No, they're not. It's only us that saves us. So we do have many doctor professionals, teledoctor professionals, because all you need is, and this is, I have been at this for 15 years. This is my thing, one of them, that I will be educating about and bringing the people in and working with everybody on. We all have this. This is the upcoming pandemic, and they're trying to keep a lid on it. I don't care. The truth is not dangerous anymore because people are so focused on the conspiracy stuff. So,
and Yaya, you see some of these look like Melanie said, like people can almost have like crawling bugs or like an insect infestation.
No, they do. I have seen them crawl out of skin.
Well, the one that I was familiar with since working with the health companies and all these practitioners across America is these fibers. The way they identify with it is that these plastic fibers or these synthetic materials literally grow out of people's bodies, and it doesn't stop, and they're different colors like you see there. And so it's pretty phenomenal when you get somebody like maybe yourself or a layperson, you've never heard of this, and you were to get it and you go to the doctor and they say they have no idea what it is.
No, they do. They do. Because you have to report. They do. You have to report to central. Doctors can no longer report for themselves. They cannot diagnose themselves. Every state has a central reporting system where they have to put the diagnosis in. The diagnosis comes. That's why we're moving our doctors to private boutique member associations. Okay. So, and they're moving in droves, and we're moving them fast, which is great because they're really healing people, and it doesn't cost a fortune. People have lost their fortunes on trying to recover from this. They have lost everything. So doctors can no longer, by law, diagnose. They have to put the diagnosis in to a central system, and then it spits out what the diagnosis is. So these people go into the dermatologist or any doctor, and they tell them what's going on. It comes back as parasitosis, delusions, right? So they have Baker-acted people, called the police, drug these people to psych wards, and they put them on pharmaceutical medicines.
And psychotropics that aren't going to help the issue at all.
No. So you are going to be hearing the truth from these people because they have been run through the controlled opposition BS movies. They have been run through everything. Their lives have been destroyed. And then they're in there with everybody that's got all the magical protocols. That's not going to work because their whole system shuts down from this stuff when it's not that hard to even get rid of it in the first place. But they have spent years, trying to get rid of this stuff. So, and we all have it. I'm sorry. You have it. I have it. Darren has it. Michelle has it. We all have it. Is it going to manifest in the same way? Maybe, maybe not. That goes along with our frequency, our connection to our creator. How much love do we admit out? How much do we keep our words, our bonds? How much do we really care to do something in this 11th hour? Or are we just worried about ourselves?
I'm just still trying to get over. Now I'm trying to get over that and the worms and eating and living. This is crazy. I mean, okay.
But we're gonna show you and the rest of the crew some better ways to where you can find better water sources, filter your water, show you better areas to buy your food from, maybe some cooking ways of not eating that uncooked meat anymore. Or at least eating a lot of ginger.
Right.
And then showing you some health supplements to help you along the way to support the body.
That's what we need.
Even if I did come up with this, I am not afraid because I know what it is. It's also triggered by the Wi-Fi you use. So I'm not afraid. Okay, so that's a big, big difference. What makes me so angry is lives have been intentionally destroyed to protect these chemical and farming and ag companies. And then we've got all these green people going, oh, save the planet. Oh, no, because they invest in all of that shit. Save this. Stop poisoning my kids. I love my kids. Stop poisoning my kids. Go ahead.
And a follow on to that, and I found this when I was doing research up the Mississippi River. Monsanto was bought by Bayer. So Bayer became the new Monsanto. So as far as GMOs and things like that. So that's another thing they do.
So that's a good shell game they play, isn't it?
Right. So that's where Monsanto is. It's in Bayer. The same Bayer aspirin company.
And who would ever expect an aspirin company to be into that type of work? And if you are to think it's diabolic at all, why would they have any part of it?
Right. And it's not just it's not just an aspirin company, multinational pharmaceutical. But that's where a lot of the, when you trace the money and trace what's been going on, that's where you end up a lot of times, or companies like that.
That's a good ad. Thank you for that, Michelle.
It is. It's a great ad. And you know what it kind of reminds me of what I want to turn people on to is independent artists. Okay. Clive Owen is an independent artist. I'm going to tell you that guy is pretty cool. He's been able to navigate a lot and get away with a lot. Telling the truth. So there is this series out, and you might have to buy it, but it's called The Nick, and it's right at the turn of the century, and it's about these surgeons and hospital professionals, and it draws you in like crazy. So, and they had to stop, There was no new seasons, so look for it. You'll understand what we are all talking about, how we all got here. That came very close to the truth.
Wow. I'm going to just go ahead and, is this it right here?
You got it. You will not stop watching. You'll binge it all night. I'm going to tell you, Clive gave the best performance of his life.
And here it is on Wikipedia.
And so, we're hoping to attract him for, I'm working with the Capone family to either do a limited edition series or a film short to get it up to a limited edition series. Because when you learn about Al Capone, you'll never think of him the same, and you'll probably be wishing he was the president.
Wow. I want to say this. I want to say that I think Unguru is going to be one of those places that everybody should check out and go to and even become a part of. And I stress that since Melanie, thank you so much for putting this together, for having that passion. I mean, how important do you think Unguru is?
I am just one person. I would not be anything without my Brian Glenn Parker, who is going to take care of the law remedy schmucks, Prime Minister David Williams, and this is just phase one. Darren and Michelle, nobody crosses streams. Dr. Kanika Verma, which you will be hearing about India, and we're hoping to warn them to stop it now, because they're going through their 60s revolution with that. So we have the ability to take the airwaves back, but we better start looking towards one another to do that and stop solo flying. You cannot solo fly anymore. Go to peace, be at peace, do business, be global. And once we reach 15,000 members, we're putting this out to another area. We want to branch this out so people know where to meet, to have those all-night roller skates and block parties, and to know which dentists and doctors to go to that can still actually diagnose you and treat you. And you really don't need a doctor unless your arm is hanging off or you need a specialty doctor, which we have those. We have those. We have everything you can imagine. Use media intentionally. And we have that too. How to get your whole digital world in one button. Because you're moving into a digital world. You want to spend that 20 hours on a day paying a bill? No, automate that shit.
That's right.
Yeah.
And lock it down, because the hackers are insane today. You're going to have to chuck this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But it's time to come together and start working with your local businesses, just trusted partners. It's okay to have the conversations. We don't have to stick in our homes and believe our own crap anymore. You got to bring it out in front. You can ask your politicians. You can write them letters, talk to your doctors, use Unguru as a source. But there's a lot to offer here, and people really need to get back to coming together and working with one another.
I would say you don't have to worry about your politicians. I would say just walk away and let them handle things. And
That
I
may be
would say,
effective.
seriously,
Yeah.
the government was never founded for you, as Brian Glenn Parker would say, and Prime Minister David Williams. It was for their posterity, and all of the people that they put to be in stewards into our communities worked with all the other countries to corrupt one another. So the oligarchs are handling it. I would say back away from people who don't talk like us. I would say back away. You got to be at peace, apolitical, respect the oligarchs. They are taking care of it. Okay, they are going to take care of it, because if history repeats, oligarchs don't leave minions. And they're always the last to know.
Wow. Well, I'm looking forward to getting to know you guys even more, and the individual interviews we're getting ready to have. Man, I'm blown away. Like I said when I started this episode, that you guys are gonna be like, I'm not eating anymore. I'm cooking my food thoroughly. I'm digging a well. Okay.
You can't do that. I'm telling you, you can't have fear. That will kill you.
Of course. But I'm just saying,
It's a lot at one time, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot at one time.
And just be conscious and mindful You know, I know some people that are some raw food people, raw food vegans and things like that. That might be something to look into also.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, I do a lot of raw foods. I love raw foods, but you got to be careful too, because my husband got sick and got bacteria from raw food.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would
so
say
you still got to be careful. Yeah.
I like the Thomas Jefferson thing. You know, he said, I eat very little meat with my vegetables and fruit.
Yeah. Yeah. That's me. That's me. I'm very little meat. And to tell you the truth, usually I have to throw it away because it's like, oh, it expired 2 years ago. Dang.
And have that coffee and have that, you know, if you smoke cigarettes, don't stress about it. Get off when you're ready. It's oxidative stress. It's oxidative stress. Oh my God, we're spending all of our time getting out of death. Yeah,
we're going toward it anyway. Go healthy. Just live a healthy life as long as possible.
Exactly. Stop freaking. Get off the damn gurus and start to become your own guru.
That's it. Wow. Well, that's perfect. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show, man. City Gal, Michelle, and Darren, thank you guys. This has been amazing. I'm so looking forward to the next time that we get together and talk, because
this group is heaven sent. This phase 1 group. I mean, I think Michelle and I both prayed. Because we know that
Michelle, oh my gosh.
Push it out there. It'll get out there.
Oh yeah, she's amazing. Michelle, you're amazing, girl. You're amazing. I'm telling you.
And
Darren, what is that you have behind you, Darren? What is that behind you?
I am in one of our 4 shipping rooms right now. So this is some of our product behind us, and we have about 8 of our own, and then we also have some adult stem cells. So the 2 things that we provide with our company are spray micronized nutrition, 3 to 6 sprays twice a day. And then we have 21 drops and 3 ounces of water with the stem cell activators. And you can work on different organ systems, strengthen kidneys, liver, take care of connective tissue issues, sleeping issues, antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal propositions. So anything that you want, we have you covered.
And that's what we're going to be having right there in Unguru, you guys, and more.
Darren, I need you to create a Pairway spray that's like, like an aerosol. So when you walk in a room, you can spray all the people.
You should just use this one with the water in it, and it'd be holy water.
Oh, you don't even know.
I'll work on that for you, City Gal.
They wouldn't know that they're getting rid of parasites. And could you please do that?
Yeah. Well, it's got to be ingested, but yes, I can work on that. It's going to have to be a very sincere aerosol through the entire room.
Can I name it?
Yes.
Can I name it? I'm going to call it Narc-Away. Narc-Away.
Oh, gosh.
I thought you were going to name it Minion Be Gone.
Minion Be Gone, Narc-Away. God, what else could we call it? Psychopath away. I don't know. We could call it a bunch of things. But I like the Narc-Away. The Narc-Away would be good.
Psych away.
Psych away.
You guys are hilarious. It sounds just like me. I was doing a show before we leave today. I was doing a show and I brought a huge bottle of alcohol with me, and people were looking at me like I was crazy. I walked into the elevator room and I was just spraying. And then I walked into the elevator, I was spraying, and everybody was looking at me like, "What is going on with this woman?" I was like, "Look, the air needs to be purified around me because I am not getting what you got. I don't care what it is. We spraying you. We spraying everybody." So this is funny.
That's for a whole other different story.
It definitely is. But I understand the concept. Open your mouth, narc it away, baby. Let's get it done.
That's it.
Thank you guys so much, man. I had such a wonderful time, Michelle, City Gal, and Darren. Thank you guys so much. I'm looking forward to having you guys back on the show with the individual interviews. I'm looking forward to that. And I'm also looking forward to working with you guys again, because this to me is like, wow.
Oh, you haven't seen nothing yet, girl.
I know I haven't, because I know you. I know you. I get a message at 3:00 in the morning. Hey, Okay, we still working.
Oh, poor Thomas. No, I
Yes.
was sound asleep. Yeah. I don't know
But
how
that's
long
okay.
he lasts, but he's working 24/7 too, because he really believes in all of us. He believes
Right.
in all of us. I think his, he and his wife and I are very close. She's like, you're taking my husband away.
But that's okay. We'll just a little while longer.
Hey,
Just a little bit.
This is our retirement. She was kidding. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Because I feel guilty already.
Taking my husband away, she said to me, and we were like clinking because they were down here visiting from Wisconsin, So
Oh, that is so good. Well, all props to Thomas, man. We love you, Thomas. Thank you so much for getting us together. Love you, Thomas. Thank you. And then that's the man behind the scenes right now, but hopefully one day we'll pull him out to the front.
People behind the scenes, and woo.
Well, we got a lot to talk about, definitely. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to Dream Chasers Radio. And this has been just one of many. Unguruyourlife.com, unguruyourlife.com. If you want to be a part of this, just go ahead and go to the website. We'll have the information in the description box below. There's been a lot said, guys. Cook your food, okay? Get better water sources and stay away from the computer as much as possible throughout the day, and check your skin. I'm just saying. Until next time, guys. Bye.